A very good morning to students. Welcome to Purnachandra Higher Secondary School. So, in this class we are discussing about the chapter number 3. Okay, that is your motion in a straight line. In the previous class or in my previous videos we are discussing about the chapter number 2. That is the unit and dimension and about the error in calculation or in measurement. These things we have discussed in my previous videos. Okay, so in this class we are discussing about the motion in a straight line. That is the chapter number 2. So before that, let us know what is motion, because the main theme of our discussion is your motion. So what is motion? Let us discuss. So when we are looking to our surrounding, okay, then generally whatever present in our surrounding, whatever the objects present in our surrounding, they are having or they are equivalent two types of states. One is motion, another one is rest. Either the object will be rest or either the object will be motion. But the question arises here, how we will know or how we will define a motion and how we will define a rest. The rest state of a body and the motion state of a body. Okay, so that is the main point. So motion, suppose a object is or a person is standing on a platform. Listen very carefully. Suppose a person is standing on the platform, okay, and in the platform there is a tree. In platform there is a tree, okay. So when the person standing in the platform, he looks at the tree, and what he concludes? He concludes that the tree is at rest. The tree is at rest. But in the same point, suppose a person is sitting inside the train and the train is moving just beside the tree, then what the person conclude? The person conclude that the tree is moving with respect to train. Very simple. So look at here, two persons, but two different situations. One person says the tree is at rest, another person says the tree is in motion. But actually, if you will go to the result, the tree actually is at rest. Clear? So that means very simple. The motion and rest, these are the two relative terms. Listen very carefully. The motion and the rest are two relative terms. Just what the example I am here. The person sitting at the platform and see the tree. The tree looks, or he concludes that the tree is at rest. But the same person when sitting inside the train, then he concludes that the tree is in motion. Why? Because in these two situations, a very important factor, okay, a very important factor taken into, that is your frame of reference. Frame of reference is a very important factor taking place in this situation, or with which we can define an object either is at rest or is in motion. Clear? Okay. So that means what is frame of reference? Let us discuss what is frame of reference. If I will go to the same example, then when the person sitting in the platform, okay, and looks at the tree, then in this case the platform is the frame of reference. That's why with respect to platform, that the person is the observer. Okay, he concludes that the tree is at rest. Understood? Okay, because the platform here is their frame of reference. But if that same person is sitting inside the train and the train is moving, then what the person concludes, what the person says? The person said that the tree is in motion because the frame of reference is not the platform. That frame of reference is the train. Okay, so that's why I can easily define a frame of reference. A frame of reference is nothing but a system which is associated with some coordinates. Listen very carefully. So frame of reference is a system which is associated with some coordinates. Okay, which is used to locate the position of an object by the observer. That is a very important point. Okay, so here we are discussing about the frame of reference, means the coordinate system. The coordinate system. Clear? Coordinate system. So let us something discuss about the coordinate system. Okay. So coordinate system, we know that basically the important or most basic coordinate system is your orthogonal or rectangular coordinate system. Okay, orthogonal rectangular coordinate system. So what the coordinate system says, let us discuss about something. So orthogonal or rectangular coordinate system is how many coordinates? Look at very carefully. There are three coordinates. One is x, one is y, and another one is z. So there are three main coordinates. One is x coordinate, another one is y coordinate, another one is z coordinates. Clear? Okay. So with the help of these three coordinates, or with this is your frame of reference, we can find out, or the observer can find out the position of an object or the state of an object, whether the object is at rest or whether the object is at motion, is in motion. Okay, so this is your frame of reference. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. Very simple. Okay, and remember one thing. These x, y and z always named in which manner? Anti-clockwise manner. It cannot be named in clockwise manner x, y, z. This is very important. So this is x, this is y, this is z, or we can name this is x, this is y, this is z, or we can name this is x, this is y, this is z. That means the naming will be must in which manner, in which pattern? The anti-clockwise pattern. Clear? Okay. So now either the object is placed here, either the object is placed here, either the object is placed here. Understood? Okay. So very simple. These frame of reference of the coordinates. Suppose I want to take an example. Then you can easily look at the corner of a room. All of you look at the corner of a room. Then you can easily visualize what is a rectangular coordinate system, a corner of a room. Because how the corner is formed? How the corner of a room is formed? The corner of a room is formed with these three axes. Very simple. One is x, another one is y, and the next one is z. Okay. So this is your frame of reference. Suppose an object is placed here at point P, then there is this point P. If you want to find out the coordinates of P, then I can find out the coordinates of P is x, y and z. Very simple. Okay. Suppose a object is placed here at point P, then the point P, the coordinates of the point P, x, y and z. Clear? Clear? That means this is your frame of reference, which is nothing but your rectangular orthogonal coordinate system. This is the rectangular or orthogonal coordinate system. Consists of three axes or three coordinates. One is x coordinate, another one is y coordinate, another one is z coordinate. Very simple. Okay? Clear all of you? Okay. So now, with this frame of reference, now we can find out the motion and the rest. The motion can be defined in the same manner. The motion can be defined in the state. Is the state of an object, okay, where the position of that object changes with respect to time in that frame of reference. Then it is called motion. Then the object is said to be in motion if it changes. But if the position of the object with respect to time will not change, it remains constant, then we can call it the state of the object is rest, is at rest, it is not in motion. With respect to time, if the position of the object changes, then it is the state of the object is said to be motional object. But if the position of the object is not changing with respect to time in that frame of reference, then we can call it as a rest. Understood, all of you? So this is a something idea, a little bit idea about motion and rest. Clear? Clear all of you? So now, let us something discuss about the position. The position of an object. The position of an object. Okay, let us find out the position of an object. So as I told just now, the position can be defined with the help of a coordinate system. Okay, with the help of a coordinate system or a frame of reference. Clear, all of you? Now suppose this is your x, this is your y, this is your z. Okay, now suppose the object is present. So now look at this coordinate system very carefully. How many planes are there? There are 3 planes, 1, 2 and 3. So what are the plane name? Look at very carefully. XY plane, okay, YZ plane, okay, and ZX plane. Understood? So there are 3 planes. With these 3 planes, the coordinate system constitute, or rectangular coordinate system constitute XY plane, YZ plane and ZX plane. Very simple. So now suppose a object is present in YZ plane. Here, the point P. Okay. In the previous example, what I told you in the previous example, the object P is present just at the center, not any specified plane. Listen very carefully. In the previous example, what I told you, Nada, this is your x, this is your y, this is your a. So don't confuse. The point P I will take and the coordinates I will take x, y and z. So in this example, listen very carefully. The point P is not at the YZ plane. It is at the just middle. That's why it is having also a x plane, an x coordinate, a y coordinate and a z coordinate. Clear? Okay? Understood? All of you? That is the point P is in the space. If the point P is in the space, then the point P, we have to move some x part here, then we have to move from y part. Okay, then I will go to this. So this is your y and this is your z value. Understood? So that's why it is at the space. But look at this example. Here, what I will mention, I have specifically mentioned that the point P is present at which plane? The YZ plane. YZ plane. Okay. So YZ plane means the point P is having 2 coordinates. That is, one is y, another one is z, because it is specifically present in YZ plane. Okay. So now, to locate this position, we require a very important physical or a very important vector, a very important physical quantity actually. Okay, so that physical quantity, that is, suppose I have to mention is, that is a r vector. With this vector we can represent the position of a point P. Again I will repeat, with this vector, whatever I have mentioned here, okay, with this arrow, with this line having an arrow at the tip, I named it as this one. So with this we can represent the point P. But let us discuss about what is a vector quantity first. Vector means, listen very carefully, vector means any physical quantity which is having both magnitude and direction. So now this is having r vector, that means this r vector is having also some magnitude and also some particular direction. Here the direction is from origin, this is your origin, to the point P. Okay, so this vector is a very specific or very important name, a specified name, that is called your position vector. What is called? Position vector. So position vector is that vector that is your OP vector. Any vector, listen very carefully, any vector is represented with an arrow above it. Clear? Any vector quantity means, just I told you, the physical quantity, any physical quantity which is having a magnitude and also having a direction. For example, force. All of you, very simple example, force. Force is having some magnitude and also the force is applicable to a certain direction. Force cannot be applied randomly. Clear? So it is having a specific direction. Understood? All of you. So that's why the physical quantity which is having a particular or specified direction and a magnitude that physical quantity is called a force. That physical quantity is called vector. Clear? So now here the point, our aim, what is our aim? To locate or to find out the position of point P with respect to origin. Okay, so here this vector, whatever I have drawn here, I called the vector as r vector. The called is r vector. So this is your r vector. OP vector is nothing but your r vector. So the r vector is called your position vector. So position vector I can define very easily now. Position vector is that vector which can be used to represent the position of an object or to represent the position of a point with respect to origin. Again I will repeat, listen very carefully. So position vector is that vector which is used to represent an object or a particle or a point, okay, with respect to origin. Always that specified vector, that position vector must be with respect to origin. Understood? So that is your position vector. So now with this position vector, you can easily find out the position, you can easily locate the position of that object or the position of the point P. Clear? So here the position vector is what? The OP vector or R vector. Clear? Now suppose another point I will take here Q. Look at very carefully. Another point I will take is here Q. So that means there is also a vector. There is also requirement of a vector which is used to locate the point Q. As R vector is used to locate the point P, so there is also a requirement of a vector to locate the point Q. Very simple. Okay. So suppose this vector I will name it as R1 vector. Understood all of you? Okay. So R is here. Here the position vector OP vector. This is used to locate P point. Okay. Now position vector, which one? Now OQ vector, or we can call it as a R1 vector. It is used to locate. Locate means to find out the position. Locate means to find out the position, location or the position. So locate which point? The Q point. Okay, so these are the two position vectors. Now, suppose I will change the position vector or I will move that position vector from Q to P. Suppose I want to move the position vector from Q to P. Look at very carefully. I want to change the position vector from Q to P. I can also change the position vector from P point to Q point. Why? The reason why? Because my point is to find out the distance between these two. What is our aim? Now our aim to find out the distance between P and Q. Okay, so this distance between P and Q I will denote it or I will notate with the help of arrow, which is starting from Q and ending at P, because I have to move from Q to P. Listen very carefully, I have to move from Q to P. Clear all of you? So that means this vector, suppose I want to mention here, it is your D vector. Clear? So this D vector is called distance or displacement vector. What is it called? Distance or displacement vector. Clear? Denoted as here and denoted as that is D vector. So now how I can define it? How I can define it? Now the distance or displacement vector D can be defined as the vector which is required to find out the distance between point Q and point P with respect to origin. Again I will repeat, the distance vector d vector can be defined as the vector which is used to find out the distance between P and Q with respect to origin. Understood all of you? Okay, so that is nothing but your distance or displacement vector. These two vectors are very important. Position vector require to locate or to find out the position of an object or a point. Distance vector is required to find out the distance, okay, to distance between any two points. Understood? Okay, with respect to origin. That is very important. Always there you should have to find out with respect to origin. So this is the main difference between position vector and your distance vector. Clear all of you? So this is how we can find out the position of an object in a frame of reference. That is this type of frame of reference, we can easily find out the position of an object with the help of this coordinate system. Understood all of you? Clear? Next, we will move into or we will discuss into the types of motion. The types of motion. Okay, so we are discussing into types of motion. So generally there are three types of motion. The first one is your one-dimensional motion. One-dimensional motion. Second, two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. Okay, and the last one is your three-dimensional motion. Clear? So one-dimensional motion, let us discuss about one-dimensional motion. That means if an object is moving in a straight line or in one dimension. One dimension means, as we have discussed here, frame of reference. So how many coordinates are there? Three coordinates. One is x coordinate, one is y coordinate, one is z coordinate. So if the object is moving, look at very carefully. Let us discuss about the first one. That is one-dimensional motion. Okay. So this is your, again I will draw that coordinate system. This is x, this is y, this is z. So if the object is moving either of these three, either the object is moving in x or along the x, either the object is moving along the y, and either the object is moving along the z, then that type of straight line motion is called your one-dimensional motion, because this is one dimension, this is one dimension, this is one dimension. And if all are accumulated, then there is three dimension. Understood all of you? Okay, so this is one-dimensional motion. That means the motion of the object in one dimension only, either in x or in y or in z. The motion of the object in one dimension, either towards the x or towards the y or towards the z, but not along either 2 or 3. Any in one dimension, only one straight line. Clear? So that type of motion is called your one-dimensional motion, or the another name of that one is your rectilinear motion. Okay, what type of motion? That is your rectilinear motion. Okay. So one-dimensional motion, that is called your rectilinear motion, that is motion in a straight line or in one dimension only, either towards the x or towards the y or towards the z. For example, a car is moving in a straight road is an example of one-dimensional motion. Clear? Okay. So that is your one-dimensional motion. Then comes to your two-dimensional motion. Then comes to your two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional means, look at here, either two dimensions can be there that is either xy, or yz. Okay, either xy or yz or zx. Either xy or yz or zx. That means in a simple sentence, the motion in a plane, any plane, that means moving of a billiard balls. I think all of you heard about the billiard balls. So moving of the billiard balls on the tray is an example of your two-dimensional motion. Or motion of the dots on the carom board, clear, is a very good example of your two-dimensional motion. Because it consists of any two dimensions, either xy or yz or zx. Clear? So that is your two-dimensional motion. These examples are very important. So one-dimensional motion in only one dimension. Motion, two-dimensional motion in two dimensions. Either xy or yz or zx. Example: billiard balls, movement of billiard balls on the tray, or movements of dots on the carom board. Understood? Okay. Or another example is also a circular motion. Suppose a bus is turning on a turn, is moving on a turn. Then that type of motion, only circular in motion or includes under the two-dimensional motion. Circular motion. Understood? Clear all of you? Any circular motion of planet, that is also a circular motion. Okay. So now this type of your motions belongs to two-dimensional motion. Then comes to your three-dimensional motion. Then comes to your three-dimensional motion. So three-dimensional motion means motion in a space, any space, not particularly in a straight line, not particularly in a plane. The motion of any object in the space. Suppose we are flying kite. Suppose you are flying a kite. Then the motion of the kite on the sky. Motion of the kite on the sky. Motion of the aeroplane on the sky is an example of your three-dimensional motion. Because in that motion, the object, whether it is an aeroplane, whether it is a helicopter, whether it is a kite, okay, so that type of motion includes all the three dimensions. Understood all of you? Clear? Because these are moving in the space, not in a particular axis. Clear? So that type of motion is called your three-dimensional motion. Understood? Clear? So these are some of the discussion about the types of motion. Clear? Okay. So this much for the day. Next we are moving into the different types. What is the distance, what is the displacement, what is the speed, what is velocity. So in my next video we are discussing about these things. Clear? So go through my videos very carefully. Have a good day.